Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks postgame podcast. We are live at Legends Grill and Bar in Mokena, 9710 191st Street. Coming out, we're going to be here for the hour. So if you're nearby, come inside. We'll probably stick around for a couple extra
maybe longer
islands and some wings.
Yeah.
And who knows? I'm right around the corner. Easy peasy for me.
Nice.
Hawks gave the Golden Knights their first loss of the season. And boy, what an exciting game, fellas. We're going to get to all of it. The biggest part of this is the comeback, and we're going to start there. But first, we want to remind you, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you smash that like button for us. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well. If you're listening on the podcast, we thank you as well. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And, of course, be sure to subscribe or follow wherever your podcast apps are, whatever one you prefer. And what we can do every post-game show, we let you vote on the 4th star of the game. We're going to tell you who the nominees are right now. The 3 stars of the game were Shea Theodore, great value William Nylander, William Karlsson, and Philip Kurashev. The game-winning goal in overtime, had a shot, 3 more shot attempts, and 19:49 of ice time. So our 4-star nominees, vote on YouTube right now. Nick Foligno with an assist, 2 shots, 2 hits, 20:28 of ice time. How about Seth Jones? 29:07 of ice time, 5 shots on goal, 10 shot attempts, and then Jason Dickinson, 3 shots, 3 shot attempts, a painful block shot.
Yes,
that looked like he was going to leave the game and barely missed a shift, and 100% 3-0 in the face-off circle, 17-18 of time. So lots of good candidates. Punch your vote in. We'll update you as the show goes on. But fellas, this game got off to about as bad of a start as you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
With the Hawks down 2-0, 3:52 into the game, and we were looking at each other like, can we just do this remote broadcast maybe another day when people are going to be throwing beer bottles at us?
Yeah.
And they turned it around, man. What an impressive win.
I thought we were going to be going scorched earth today after that spirited practice and all that stuff we were hearing about. Oh, they're going to be more physical, and they were not ready to play at all. But all of a sudden,
I blame Nevada.
Sure, and their day,
Nevada
day. But they pulled it out. They pulled it around. They got it tied before the end of the frame. Connor Bedard. I don't care what anybody says. He scored in 3 straight games. Screw Jim Montgomery. Great comeback. Great. Even in the 3rd period, you get the gift goal from Shea Theodore.
Yeah,
giving the puck, literally saying, "Here, Taylor Raddysh, you go score."
Mm-hmm.
He made up for it, but just a good character win. That's the type of win that a team that's still trying to figure out their identity, trying to figure out who each other are, and getting some chemistry going. This is a win you can build off of in a game that 5 minutes in, you had no business being around, and you came back and you beat the undefeated defending Stanley Cup champions in their building. This is a big win. Could probably say with a lot of confidence the best win in the Luke Richardson era.
Oh, that's a big statement.
I like that.
I mean, it's
there's only like 16 others.
Sure, yeah. There's not a ton to choose from. Sure, it's definitely the best win of this season. I mean, the win in Pittsburgh was great because it was opening night, on the big stage. You get out to a statement win right out of the gate. The win against Toronto was great too because it was unexpected. It was an upset win. But this is a game where you had to come back from giving up 2 goals on the first 2 shots on goal that you saw from Vegas, and you score 3 unanswered. They tie the game late in the 3rd period, and you're able to pull it out in overtime. Like that's huge. So I would say, at least for this season, of the 3 that they have, this is the best one that they've had. The best, the best effort that they've had to play from behind, which they're going to do a lot this season. But to do it, against this Vegas team, a team you've seen twice now, a team that was the last undefeated team in the league when 3 or 4 teams coming into this week were still undefeated. It's impressive, and I mean, there's a lot of good performances tonight. A lot of some unexpected performances. Nick Foligno was very spirited in his top line role for sure. He made a big impact in this game. Even giving up 3 goals, on 21 shots allowed. Peter Mrazek, after the first 2 shots of the game, shut down Vegas for a long stretch of time. So that's an important performance from him as well. The first goalie of the season to have back-to-back starts. 3 on 21 is not great, but I think the performance was better than the number is going to show.
He gave up one less than the other guy did.
That's all that's important.
Exactly. And also impressive in this one is you lose Alex Vlasic for the majority of the game. We don't know. We're waiting for updates on that. Seth Jones, who, again, played great, takes a tripping penalty with 2.5 minutes left in the period. Tied. There were so many chances the Hawks had to absolutely tuck their tails and fold in this game, from the start to the injuries to blowing the 3-2 lead to a 3-3 lead. Then the power plays the penalty kills they had to go on, and they answered the bell. And it's such a character win. And you mentioned, like, is it the best win of the Luke Richardson era? It's in the conversation. I can't think of anything better off the top of my head.
Knocking out Pittsburgh out of the playoffs.
Yeah, that was fun.
The post-game show sucked after that game.
It did. You're right about that. That was brutal.
Some of you guys in the chat are the reasons why.
But, when you look at, like, the Pittsburgh win and the Toronto win, they were great, but it felt like kind of like they were hanging on in those games. And they just happened to win. This game, aside from the start of the game, aside from the first 2 shots that Vegas scored, the Hawks had an edge in play, I thought. I thought they were the better of the 2 teams for 55 minutes of this game. So
once they woke up,
and you could say, like, maybe Vegas took their foot off the gas, or once it was 2-0, it doesn't matter. It was still Vegas in their rink. The Hawks are down 2-0. They come back and get the win. That is a huge character win tonight. And you wonder, I think momentum in sports is generally overblown, but I think had this game been after that intense practice everybody was excited about and happy about, you come out and you lose 5-0 in Vegas, that's going to have an impact in the long run, right? Now you win this game, you're feeling good. You've cleared, like, the hellscape of the schedule at least a little bit. This is going to, I think, go a long way for their confidence, for their development, and everything that we're looking for from the team this year.
You get a night in Vegas as winners. That's a pretty good feeling.
Yeah.
That's the one of the additional perks to this game ending at 4:30 p.m. Vegas time, being able to or not 4:30 but 6:30 rather. But you get to have that feeling, that good feeling, coming away winners. You have the weekend off before going to play Arizona after playing cup contender after cup contender after cup contender. Now here come you go into the Coyotes building. You get to play in front of 4,000 people. It's kind of like having a couple off days in a row. I'm sure PHNX is going to love that comment, but it's going to feel like a breath of fresh air to go into that game, having won this one, and now finally, facing a team that's going to be pretty close to your competitive level after playing 7 cup contenders in the first 8 games of the year. So it's the best case scenario for this team. Especially coming off of the performance in their last game, and needing to kind of be called out by your coach and be able to have to, like, come back to practice. And I think there was a great quote in Scott Powers' piece that was in The Athletic, basically saying the practice that they had yesterday going in before they got onto the plane, that's a practice that coaches use to disguise a bag skate.
Right.
Like we have to ramp up the physicality. We have to ramp up the competitive level. So we're going to go in and every one of you is just going to battle against each other. Instead of just skating, suicides all day, you're going to go in, you're going to go, tight game battles, one-on-one battles, net front battles. And they responded well, like being able to wake up after the tough start and have the comeback that they did. It makes that practice, and it just makes everything. Hopefully this snowballs into a lot of good things for this team after having a tough performance after tough performance.
Yeah, and this team needed a result.
Yeah,
a positive result. We've seen them play these tough games, and they've been in a lot of them for the most part. I mean, go back to last Saturday night against this same Vegas team. Same exact scenario, tied 2-2 after 2 periods. Last weekend, 6 days ago, they got smoked in the third period.
Yeah.
They gave up that goal right off the opening draw, and the game was over. This time, they kill off the last minute of a penalty, and they score right after that.
Yeah.
And then they're the aggressors. They have the lead, and they build off of that. They could have folded after they gave up that goal. They could have folded after the Seth Jones penalty, which, I'm sorry, Chandler Stevenson's 6 foot, 210 pounds, and he feels a stick on his skate and he drops like he just got shot from the 300 level. Come on.
Yeah.
That was a little bit of embellishment. If you're going to call embellishment, that's when you call it. But they killed off that penalty. They killed off that penalty with 2 minutes to go in regulation with no Seth Jones and no Alex Vlasic. That's huge. Yeah. Those are the type of shifts that just get things going. So this is a team that needed to show that if we keep working like we did and we're going to keep working, we're going to get paid off with victories and good victories. So it was nice to see everything kind of fall into place for them tonight, especially after such a brutal start. You know, I was sitting here after that second goal going, I'm just going to have to I'm going to have to sit here and call out Luke Richardson and his practice. And I don't want to do that. And we didn't have to. But
I'm glad we don't have to.
One thing I'd like to talk about is something that I'm kind of upset about these last couple games.
You want to put a pin in that and take a break first?
Yes.
All right, let's do that. Yeah, because I think we all have a thought on that. And thanks everybody for the super chats. We're going to get to them. Make sure you smash that like button on YouTube and vote for the 4-star of the game. Reminder, the nominees today, Nick Foligno, Seth Jones, and Jason Dickinson. But first, Philip Kurashev was our overtime hero. He's won hero bread. No, he hasn't. But if we get some, I'll bring him some.
We'll send him a loaf.
It's great stuff. And I know a lot of people wisely are watching their carbs. And if you need a low carb option to fit your lifestyle or dietary constraints, founder of Hero Bread, Cole Glass baked 100 muffins per day before he found the perfect blend that fit his allergy constraints.
That's a lot of
That's
muffins.
what pushed him to start Hero Bread. We had some Hero Bread in there the other night. We had a little grill out for the Bears game, and I did not know that there was any difference between the Hero Bread and the stuff you buy typically in the store. The taste, the texture was great. The bread was soft and fluffy, high fiber, which is good for old fat guys like me, ultra low net carbs, and 0 grams per sugar per slice. It's great stuff. Go to hero.co, use the code CHGO, and you'll save 10%. Hero makes sliced breads, buns, and tortillas that are all available on hero.co and Amazon. Again, fewer calories than the leading national brand, 5 to 10 grams of protein per serving. And right now, Hero Bread is offering you, the CHGO listener, 10% off your first order. Just go to hero.co and use the code CHGO to save on Hero Bread today. That's HERO.co to save 10% today.
I'm excited for this read. I am super excited that Empire Today is now sponsoring CHGO. Yeah. You do not get a more Chicagoland sponsor than Empire Today. I know
the Jewels.
They're not. I know they're not. They don't have the. They don't have the jingle. I know it's not necessarily carpets, but Empire Today is where you go. Shop at home convenience for the right products for your needs. Quick and professional installation and a price match guarantee. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring. So, of course, they have their copycats, but they can't beat Empire on quality, service, speed. So they'll advertise low-quality products that they simply don't carry. Empire won't promise the lowest price because anyone who does that is putting in flooring in your home that they wouldn't put in theirs. Empire keeps shopping for floors simple with a curated product selection. Their philosophy is to help you find what you need, not overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes. What they have out in their selection is as important as what they put in. Empire's products team is exhaustively combs through thousands of product samples each year to find the perfect style. So if you're looking to put a new floor in your home, call our friends at Empire Today. Schedule a free in-home estimate. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/CHGO for details. I know it's not in there, but I'm doing it anyway. 588-2300 Empire. All right, I'm doing that every read. I don't care.
Perfect. Before we give you the beautiful Empire floor here, a little update on Alex Vlasic. Luke Richardson didn't want to say it was a head injury for sure, but he mentioned the term whiplash and said that he was, quote, wobbly after the Howden hit.
He looked like he was on another planet.
I thought he maybe got hit in the balls because he had that look like, I don't want to grab him.
Grab
him. He was boozy.
He was
shoulder to upper shoulder hit.
Yeah. So that, by the way, that credit to Mark Lazarus. That's a tweet he had. But this is where you want to start is this Brett Howden hit on Alex Vlasic, which was late. It was not a hit to the head, but it was dirty.
It was blindside.
It was a blindside. Puck was gone.
It was almost identical to the hit Brendan Carlo had on Taylor Hall in Game 2 in Boston with the same result. These guys are turning me into a meatball because where's the response? Where's the defense for your teammate? I was expecting Brendan Carlo's first shift in the United Center, somebody to go and make him answer for that hit on Taylor Hall.
Right.
Where's that? And Mackenzie Entwistle put him on his ass late in that third period, but that was more of an in the play kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
It was a great play by Entwistle. It wasn't a more, but why is Jared Tenorti out there if he's not going to go challenge a guy?
Or Reese Johnson. Anybody. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
If a guy's going to take a shot that Carlos hit on Hall, your head coach said it was a dirty blindside hit. How do I know that? I used to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you saw his reaction today. He was not happy with the reps.
Said the same thing. If you lip read on the broadcast,
he said it's a blindside hit.
Yep.
You can't do that. How many guys have to go out with injuries for these hits before someone stands up for your teammate? The only time it ever happened last year was Max Domi. Anytime, God forbid, Patrick Kane got hit, Max Domi would go get kicked out of a game. Where's that response?
Hey, you know what? You're right. And guess what? 2 games in a row now against Boston, Brad Marchand was in Connor Bedard's face, trying to get him off his game, trying to intimidate him, trying to piss him off, be the little rat that he is. There's no response. And look, I think part of it is you've got a young team. There are veterans here, but they're kind of, it feels like they're hanging on for dear life sometimes in these games because the opponent's so good. So guys are in the headspace of don't mess up, don't take a penalty, don't get us out of this game. But the more you go without responding to this stuff, the more it's going to happen. You know who's expecting a response in the Boston game? Brandon Carlo. I guarantee you he was ready. I always remember the Rafi Torres hit on Hossa.
Mm-hmm.
The next time the Hawks played Arizona, the next season, Torres knew Jamal Mayers was going to be there for him. And guess who was there for him? Jamal Mayers. Rafi Torres knew, I'm going to have to fight in this game. And look, we can talk about what fights mean and if they have any value, if they actually are a deterrent or whatever. But there comes a time when the opponent is frequently taking liberties with your players. 2 of your best players, by the way, in Taylor Hall and Alex Vlasic.
Right.
And nothing is done, and you got Brad Marchand trying to get it under Connor Bedard's skin. If someone touches Connor Bedard, there should be a response.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The day of the goon is over, but if you're going to dress Reese Johnson and Mackenzie Entwistle and Jared Tenorti, one of those 3 has to do something. It can't be Perry every time.
No, it can't be Perry every time. You have Nick Foligno now on Bedard's wing. So there's another guy who could do it if necessary. But yeah, I mean, you can't just let these things keep going without any kind of repercussion or any kind of pushback, because that message is going to go across the league to say, oh, if we hit somebody questionably or take liberties against any player, we're not going to really have to face anything. And sure, maybe the Blackhawks hold on to the receipt the next time they play Vegas. Brett Howden has to answer, but that's not good enough.
Right.
In that moment, it has. You want it to happen in that moment. Until it's illegal to fight people, you have the ability to do it.
Well, and it doesn't have to be a fight. Take it. You said take a number. Next time you see Brett Howden on the ice, finish a check hard on him, or just grab him after a scrum and get in his face.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the old school throw the gloves down. Have him looking over his shoulder at least the rest of the game.
This would be something.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that there was no penalty called on that play. Was there a penalty on the Taylor Hall hit? I don't think there was a penalty on that either.
I don't believe so.
So if the refs aren't going to police your opponent, then you have to.
Yeah.
Right.
If the refs aren't going to, if they take a hit on Vlasic and he goes out, but they call a penalty and the Hawks, Bedard scores a power play goal, okay, that's a deterrent. But if the refs aren't going to call the penalty and you're also not going to get in the guy's face, it's only a matter of time before half the Rockford Ice Hogs are up here because your guys are all in the training room with hurt shoulders.
And that's what happened to Cole Gutman when he got hit from behind by John Beecher in the Boston game. Jason Dickinson, there was no penalty called.
Right.
Jason Dickinson has no hesitation to step in and say, okay, now we have to fight against John Beecher. So you've seen it. You know you can do it.
Yeah.
In a game like this where, not only is it in the moment of the game, but the play stops because Vlasic is down. there's some reason that's happening. So I don't know. You want to be able to feel like this team has each other's backs. I mean, you saw it in the way that they responded in this game on the ice. We know they're going to pull together and play hard, but you also have to say, like, okay, if I take a hit or if I get, slew-footed or whatever happens, I know that Jared Chinordi or insert Blackhawk here will be able to step up and protect me, and I would do the same for them. Like, that's the kind of message that you want to send to your teammates to say, hey, if something screwy happens here, we're going to have your back. And I mean, is this a call to go and get somebody like Ryan Reeves? No, but you have guys here on this team already that can answer that bell when necessary.
Cricket points out in the chat, and somebody had said it on Twitter too, that Chinordi was chatting up Howden after that hit. Somebody said he had bumped him and he declined the fight. You don't give him the option to decline the fight. You grab him and say, listen,
we are fighting.
Okay, we got speakers on the bar. Listen, jerk.
Listen, you.
We're going to fight. You don't have an option. You can't say, no, sir. No, thank you. I'm not going to fight. No, you grab him and you force him to fight.
Right.
Or you make him turtle on the ice and make him look like a even bigger pud whack.
Right.
Yeah, that's 100% true. If you do something like that to a player and then you're called to the stage, you don't get to say, nah, I don't want to do that. Then Jared Chinordi goes, too bad, and starts putting his fist in your mouth. Like, that's just how it goes. And far be it, this is not something that I usually advocate for, but in that instance where you have a head injury,
too many times
you have a head injury happen, and there's no response from this Blackhawks team too often. There has to be something there.
And to be clear, the three of us are on record as not liking the fact that guys feel obligated to fight after a clean hit. We're not talking about clean hits.
No, it's blindside.
The hit on Vlasic was blindside. The hit on Hall was blindside. There needs to be some kind of response, be it in the moment right then, be it in the moments later whatever it might be. There was
a shift not long after that Chinordi and Howden were on the ice together.
Yeah.
Nothing.
He said, no, thank you. I don't want to fight. So
too bad.
Stayed on.
Too bad. If you want to turtle up and turn your back to Jared Chinordi, then he's going to punch you in the back.
Yeah.
That's what should have happened.
I know I would.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was too good of a game to just focus on the negative, but it's something to keep an eye on as the season goes on. And I think, as this team starts to gel and they start to know each other and honestly care about each other more, I hope we see more of a response. But overall, a very, very positive night. You mentioned Peter Mrazek right off the set, and I've been really impressed with him this year, both the goalies this year. And again, just like the team, the way he started was very concerning. And for him to, like last year, I feel like that game would have been 5-0, 6-0.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like once the floodgates open and once that powerhouse is on top of you, there's nothing you can do to get out of it.
Right.
I think there's something to be said too, as we talk about, players standing up for each other too, for a goalie rallying and making a couple big saves in a row to keep you in it. And then you score your two and respond quickly. And all of a sudden you're back to square one. And the goalie did such a good job of keeping things calm when all hell could have broken loose. So I think Mrazek deserves some credit in this one too, even though he's not one of our 4 stars.
Yeah. I mean, the last game, he was all of the 4th stars. Yeah. So it'll even out. And you look at the performances he's put in this year. This was the first game that he was below a 900 save percentage. But he was able to make a lot of the big saves when necessary. There were a couple scrambles in the second and third periods where he came up with some really important saves to keep the team in it. And look, like you have his 2 wins this season. He won the game in Pittsburgh, won the game tonight. But in 2 of his 3 losses, he is he's faced 40 or more shots, and he's averaged 3 goals given up a game. Now that's a little high, but also in today's NHL, that's also not too bad. Giving up 3 goals, you usually have a decent chance of being competitive in a game. So for that to be the baseline for Mrazek is, usually above 900 and just about 3 goals, maybe sometimes less, maybe 4. If you get that for a full season for Mrazek, that's an improvement from last year. And Arvid Soderblom has been pretty good too this year. So like we talked about this offseason and leading into the year for this Blackhawks team is if they're able to get about league average goaltending from these two, they're going to surprise some teams. And I think we've seen that to start the year, especially from Mrazek. It's been better than what he showed last year. And they've been in most of the games that they've played because of their goaltending.
So they're saying the trick to Peter Mrazek winning this year is to give up the first 2 goals of the game, and then he's all good because he did that in Pittsburgh.
It's a bold
too.
strategy, but it's worked.
And doing post-game shows in Mokena.
And
Sure.
or just remote post game.
That was a
remote post game show too. In
Yeah.
our lovely accommodations in Pittsburgh.
There you go. So I'm looking at natural stats
Much
right
better
here.
here than Pittsburgh.
Yes.
The Hawks had the advantage in every statistical category aside from high danger chances. Vegas had a 9-7 advantage in high danger chances.
7 of
Fine.
those probably came in the first 4 minutes.
You're right.
Right.
Absolutely.
It felt that way.
Hawks were 58-41 in Corsi, 58-41 in Fenwick, 22-16 in 5-on-5 shots on goal, 24-23 in favor of Vegas in scoring chances, high danger chances, and expected goals. The Hawks were 1.75 to Vegas' 1.62. This was a really solid performance against the best team in hockey. I don't think there's until they're not, they are. Right?
Right,
They're the defending Stanley Cup champions. They don't have a regulation loss. By definition, they're the best team in hockey. And
the good news is this is more than likely the last game against an undefeated team we have to play this season.
Well,
I think so.
Vegas was the last undefeated team.
Oh, that's right,
Because Colorado and Boston lost. So
Yeah.
even though it wasn't a regulation, it's still a loss. So there are
no
no more
Yes.
undefeated teams in the NHL
Thank
for the
God.
Blackhawks
If
to
there
face.
were, I'm sure they'd be on the schedule the next couple of days.
Right.
Knights only have an overtime loss though. So
Yep.
maybe when they play them again, maybe they'll still be undefeated.
Yeah.
Guys, can we hit some super chats? We got a really big one here. I got to hit.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, I'm going to start with the biggest first. It's from Chris, $100.
Whoa.
That's right.
Thank you.
Gutsy W, let's start bringing in 2 to 3 legit unrestricted free agents this offseason and maybe even one more big move this year. A lot more enjoyable than watching the cheap-ass Cubs and whatever garbage that is that plays football for Chicago.
God at the
Hope
Cubs.
Vlasic is okay. He's looked really good. He has.
Yeah, I mean, Vlasic has been, you could argue between him and Seth Jones, 2 of the best defensemen on the team so far this season. And so I'm hoping that he can take the weekend to kind of recover and be okay. Hopefully it's not too serious and he can come back and be good to go. But if not, I mean, that's a tough spot to fill in the lineup. And the only guy that they have right now without making any moves from Rockford, if it is necessary, the only guy they have is Nikita Zaitsev. So yeah,
That's
that'd be tough.
the Zaitsev Nordy pairing just makes me want to empty my balls.
That's a good way to about
bowels?
My bowels.
Okay.
Oh, balls. I was like, oh, I didn't know you liked Zaitsev that much.
An emergency evacuation.
We have one remote shoot, and that's what you said. All right.
All right.
$10 super chat
Yeah.
from Jet Driver 175. How important has Seth Jones been to this team? He and Murphy to a lesser degree. Is that steady influence on the blue line that a young team needs? Lots of good tonight, including the fourth line. Big.
If there's one thing I hope we accomplish on CHGO Blackhawks, is that we convince Hawks fans that Seth Jones is good at hockey.
Yeah.
We hate the contract too. We hate the term. We hate the money. But guess what? The guy that made the trade and signed the deal is no longer with the organization. Seth Jones is here for a long time.
And he's a good player.
Start to appreciate the good things he
There
does.
is
29 effing minutes tonight, 10 shot attempts.
Oh,
yes to go along with 3 blocked shots and a takeaway. And is there anybody that you could think of off the top of your head better at keeping the puck in the zone when they have not only just on the power play but 5-on-5?
yeah.
He's always there corralling the puck. I mean, that's going to go a long way over the season if that's how you keep puck possession.
On the disallowed Bedard goal in the last game too, he kept the puck in at the blue line that led to the goal that was waved off. I mean, to have a defenseman that you can trust to put in a solid effort and to play almost half of a game. I mean, the Blackhawks, to have a player like that, you'd be hard pressed to find anybody, whether it's via trade or free agency, realistically, that could play that role other than Seth Jones right now. So you have to have a player like that, even as a team that's not contending for a cup right now. You have to have someone who can do that.
And I know a bunch of people are going to run to the internet and find all sorts of fancy, unreadable graphics telling us how bad Seth Jones sucks, but I want you, when you see those things, think about the context of it.
Right.
He is the top ice time logging defenseman on one of the 5 worst teams in hockey. That is the reality right now.
Right.
And when you're on one of those last teams, you could play awesome hockey for 25 minutes. And if 2 or 3 of those minutes you make a tough play or a tough read against an undefeated opponent, yeah, over time, over the course of a game against a bad team, those metrics are going to pile up against Seth Jones. Also, no matter who the opponent is, he is mostly up against their top competition. He's starting in the defensive zone. So when you look at these stat cards or these wave graphics or whatever they might be that want to tell you Seth Jones sucks, they don't offer any context at all, aside from look at how many shots allowed Seth Jones allows when he's on the ice. Yes, he's playing half the game on a bad team with 3 rookie defensemen.
Next time, what's his face puts out his little worst contract in the league, I'm going to send him video of what Seth Jones did against Jack Eichel on that third period power play.
Yeah.
In fairness, I will say today the chat has been more positive about Seth Jones than I've ever seen in my season plus of doing these shows.
Since he has gotten here, he has become exponentially better. And it started last season when new head coach Luke Richardson took over.
Yeah, when his coach was a moron.
Yeah. That usually helps. And look, good defensemen on bad teams can make big impacts. You know who won the Norris last year? Erik Karlsson. On one of the worst teams. He put up 101 points and was a minus 26.
Yeah.
It was a terrible team. So look, bad teams are going to have good players on them. And the Blackhawks have a good one in Seth Jones. And I think as we talked about from last season to this season, the overall improvement of the lineup, top to bottom, will benefit a player like Seth Jones and benefit the narrative around him. And I think we've seen that this year. There are less and less games where, because he's logging so many minutes on such a bad team that is so inept of talent, that his performances are not as glaring as they used to be, whether they're good or bad. I think he's kind of being, a little bit more in the background as the focus becomes more on Bedard and Lucas Reichel and Kevin Korchinski, who's right now his defensive pairing. As the spotlight is shown more on them, it's less on Seth Jones. And that's not to say we're focusing less on the bad. I think it's just his performances are becoming less and less nitpicked. And I think the good things that he does, they show more through that lens.
Can I illustrate a point?
Sure.
What did you guys think of Lucas Reichel tonight?
I barely noticed him.
Okay, Greg?
Not a lot there offensively, that's for sure.
Guess who the highest rated player on the Blackhawks was in metrics?
I'm going to guess it was Lucas Reichel.
Lucas Reichel, 75% Corsi, 78.57 Fenwick, 15 shot attempts for, 5 against with Lucas Reichel on the ice. Lucas Reichel on the score sheet was straight zeros across the board.
Yeah.
No shots, no goals, no assists, nothing. So, again, I'm not saying maybe Lucas Reichel is better than we thought. Maybe Luke Richardson will say, hey, we thought he played really well despite not producing on the score sheet. That's fine, but metrics are not the be-all, end-all. And anyone that tells you Seth Jones sucks is only looking at the metrics. That's it. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
Are you showing me his big blue line?
Speaking of metrics,
Oh my God.
according to the blue lines, guess who was the best Blackhawk tonight?
Well, I'm going to go with Reichel. This is a guess.
No, he was in the bottom 6.
Wow.
It was Jared Tenorti.
Of course it was.
So metrics.
Tonight, the blue lines mean who's tallest.
Sure.
That's gotta be what it
second was
is.
Connor Bedard, so who knows?
Yeah. A couple other quotes coming in here post-game. Luke Richardson, this is from Ben Pope. Luke Richardson said Jason Dickinson was yelling at the guys to get going after they fell behind 2-0. And then Connor Bedard here talking about Philip Kurashev. Quote, both games, he's been so noticeable. For him to get that one, it was really exciting. All game, he was buzzing and working plays down low, and he had a lot of puck possession. It's fun for me to play with him. So we can look for number 98 and 23 to be line mates for the near future.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought, obviously, scoring the game-winning goal in overtime was great. But Kurashev in these 2 games has really looked noticeable. He has really been a factor. And I do like he has that nice combination of skill and grit and willingness to go into the corners and win pucks. But when he goes and wins a puck, he can also like put it between his legs off the boards and then retrieve it back and make a play out of it, as opposed to just digging it out and maybe dumping it out or whatever. He can make something happen with the pucks he wins. I want to see those two together for an extended look here.
Yeah,
They've
it seems
certainly
like
got
we're
some
going
chemistry.
to.
I don't think there's much option there at this point. Kurashev is one of those guys. He's like a chameleon. When you put him on a bottom 6, a 4th line, he plays like a 4th liner. But when you put him on with more talented player, he plays like a more talented player. You know, he's one of those guys that doesn't necessarily elevate a line, but when you put him in an elevated role, he answers the bell.
Yeah,
like he
can play up to
he
it.
takes on the form of his line mates. The better his line mates are, the better he is.
Yeah,
Right,
no,
yeah.
definitely.
It's like Dylan Strome when he was here. When you put him down with bad players, he played bad. When you put him with good players, oh my God, he's a good player.
Yeah, right.
So he's not that talented of a player to where he's going to make everybody around him better. But when he's around better players, he brings his level up as well. I think that's a good. Kurashev and Bedard obviously getting some chemistry going. I dare you say they already have more chemistry than Bedard and Hall ever had. I know Hall was in and out, and kind of.
It's hard to judge.
But I mean, they've looked good, and Foligno is a good fit on that line. So that I don't see why you would take that down anytime soon. And
that's my top line till it's not.
And because the way it is, coaches rarely ever change lineups after a victory. Looks like Andreas Athanasiou is going to be watching from the press box again. I mean, at least this press box is going to be a lot closer than where he was.
Yeah, it'll be a better view.
Yeah, he's essentially going to be on the bench.
Yeah.
Row 6. So,
yeah, I mean, well, the 4th line was great tonight.
Yeah,
Donato got a goal.
Yep.
Kachuk had a couple good plays, and Whistle was noticeable as well. They had a number of times where that 4th line was keeping plays alive in the offensive zone. Like it was extremely noticeable outside of your normal 4th line duties. So I'm very. What was that? Three straight shows. I'm very happy with the performance that they had tonight, and yeah, I don't think there's anything that you're going to throw a Athanasiou into the lineup for. That's at least right now the way that he's been playing is going to make any big difference. And if your 4th line is going to put in an effort like that against Vegas, no reason to make a change.
All right, before we take a break, we got some more super chats to catch up on, right? Steven, you want to knock it out for us?
Quite a few. We got one on the screen right now from Lebowski 5. We're going to have to go rapid fire here because they are piling up.
All right, let's do it.
Sure. Disagree with you about the Hawks needing to fight someone
tonight.
Disagree with you about the Hawks needing to fight someone in defense of a dirty hit. The Cup teams rarely fought even in defense of a dirty hit. They destroyed the perpetrator on the boards/scoreboard tonight.
That's fine.
That's the best way to do it.
That's what we're saying too. Like, make them pay in the power play, but if there's no penalty called, like we said, it doesn't have to necessarily be a fight. Finish a hard check on a guy. The other thing too, though, when you're talking about the dynasty era, is teams were terrified of taking penalties against the Hawks because they were going to make them pay.
Yeah,
and they were one of the fastest team in the league. You couldn't catch up to them half the time.
I see what you're saying. It's a tough comparison, but I don't think we're saying punch people every time. There's got to be some kind of response, even if it's a violent face wash.
Yeah.
Something.
I just want to see a response to stick up for your teammate.
Yeah,
I want blood.
$20 from Hawkeye. Great win and good to come back after the biggest win of the season so far. You guys are fantastic. Keep up the good work. Go Hawks.
Hawkeye's obviously been drinking. Thank you.
Good use of your 20.
Thank you. Kerry Franklin, $20. Here's to the Blackhawks for never give up attitude. Penalty kill was outstanding, and it really was today. The win could take them far.
This is a very likable team.
It is.
It's a likable coaching staff. It's a likable team. There's not a lot of guys in years past. There's been those Hawks that have annoyed us, right? And of course, there's going to be moments that annoy us from this team. But overall, I like the character of this roster. They showed it tonight. They've showed it most of the year, quite frankly. And yeah, they're an easy team to root for.
Yep. Any more, Steven?
Yeah, quite a few. $5 from Dying Breed Collectors. Next watch party, question mark, because we are right here live at Legends Grill and Bar right here in Mokena.
That's right.
I'm really mad at myself for not coming tonight. Better to interact with you guys one-on-one at a watch party or takeover at a game. That's a question. Which one's better?
Well, we got
probably
a
the watch party.
We got a takeover coming up.
Yeah, we do.
Still
On the
get tickets
4th,
for that?
November 4th. Get tickets for that.
Guess what I learned?
What did you learn?
Tickets have been released for the Detroit takeover as well.
Extra tickets.
I learned this tonight.
Extra tickets.
Dying Breed Collectors. Hope you heard that.
Yeah, so
All
there's
CHGO.com.
November 4th for the Panthers game, which is going to have the Fifth Third Arena before. We're going to meet up at the bar and hockey bar before that, too. The whole day on November 4th. And then
Bring your skates.
The Chelios date is escaping me, but
February 25th.
Thank you. February 25th, Hawks, Red Wings, Chris Chelios retirement night. We just opened up more tickets at allchgo.com to join us for that takeover. So jump in. There's not going to be many.
No.
Probably single digits left. So if you're listening and you've been waiting, now is the time to jump in and get them.
Yep. Those will sell out.
$10 from Nate. You know, this vindicated what Richardson said about I'm tired of 1 year is enough of. We're a hardworking team. Good culture win, especially for the young guys. Something to really build on.
Absolutely.
100%.
And this did feel like one of those building block games for such a young team, too.
Yep.
It's an identity win.
Yeah.
Great way of putting it. Theo Macy for $2. Felino 4-star just for the spin move. Come on.
That was
insane.
Turn the clock back.
I always laugh like guys that play beer league hockey and sometimes like in the summer, old NHL guys will show up like just to get a skate in or playing shape. Like, this guy was a fourth line plug, and they just come out and razzle dazzle people.
The worst NHL player will school any regular Joe that plays beer league hockey.
Yes.
The worst NHL player out there will make you look silly.
Jim Cummins will look like Wayne Gretzky.
Yes, absolutely.
This one's not a super chat, but I thought it was funny from Tom F. I will offer up a big super chat to have Greg never say that again.
Get your money where your mouth is, pal.
The ball is in your court.
Say what?
The balls are in his court, you mean?
Oh, was that what he was trying to say?
No, that's not what I said.
Oh, okay.
Hey, I'll until you pay it. I'm gonna say that once a show.
Another massive super chat from Chris, $50. He already had $100 earlier in the show.
They are tabbed tonight.
Let's go.
Steph Jones is playing his what, Greg? Balls off?
I said bowels.
And that contract he was given by he who shall not be named. But I'm a little worried about Reichel. Jumpstart him, please, with Bedard.
Yeah, something's got to. We'll get into Reichel. We got a lot of off day shows next week.
Yeah.
Reichel will be a focus here, and like, it's not that he's bad. He's just a guy like that needs to generate offense.
Yeah, I think
he can't have zeros. There's got to be shots. There's got to be something.
I think he's so focused on being a complete 200-foot center that it's causing him to suffer in the offensive
And he's
zone.
been okay. Again, 15 shot attempts, 5 against with him on the ice.
He's
The
been
defense
good
is fine.
defensively, and he was their best face-off guy today.
Yeah.
Look,
But he's not here to be Patrice Bergeron. He's here to be an offensive player.
well, it'd be great if he was Patrice Bergeron.
Well, yeah, but he's not.
He's not here to be.
He's not here to be Marcus Kruger.
He's not. Yes,
He's here to be.
He's not going to be Marcus. He should not be Marcus Kruger.
He's here.
And look,
he's here to be your second best offensive player.
Yeah, and if he makes the commitment and turns into Marcus Kruger, that's fine, so long as people like Frank Nazar and Oliver Moore and whoever they draft in their top pick this year or whatever turn into
force him into that role because there are other people who are better.
Sure, that's the acceptable outcome there in that instance. But the defensive game is good, but that's not the player he is, and I hope it doesn't change his hockey genetic makeup all that much playing center.
All right, last two super chats here. Brandon Sikora for $5. Speaking of young players, I'm conflicted on Korchinski. It's a critical development year for him, and he needs more time. WHL rule sucks. Like to see him in Rockford.
Nothing to be conflicted
He
about.
can't go to Rockford, and he played 21 minutes tonight.
He's been great.
All right, Tom F.
He
gave
gave it to you. There it is.
All
I
right,
see it.
thank you, buddy. I will never say that word again.
Can I say it?
Yeah, don't worry about Korchinski. Look, there are going to be moments where Korchinski makes a defensive mistake. He's an offensive defenseman.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned Erik Karlsson earlier in the show. If I'm up a goal late, Erik Karlsson's not on the ice.
No.
If I'm down a goal late, he is absolutely on the ice.
Maybe not even that.
This is the reason you have Nolan Allen and Ethan Del Mastro and Alex Vlasic, so you can put a guy like Korchinski out there when you're down to add some offense, because you're going to have those stay-at-home guys. Korchinski is unique in the fact that he can do offense. You got Seth Jones that can do both. Right. He's a different kind of a player, so you can't evaluate Kevin Korchinski's defense in the same way you're going to evaluate Vlasic or any of the other defensive style guys. It's a different look. You're going to see some blunders from him. He will make those. They'll happen less and less frequently as his career goes on, of course. But I've seen nothing from Kevin Korchinski that tells me, "Oh God, this kid's not ready." Every time he's on the ice, I'm confident something good is going to happen.
In a perfect world, he would be playing in Rockford, but it can't happen, and he's holding his own, and he's confident out there, and that's all. That's what you
led the Blackhawks today in expected goals for with .97. He was near the tops in possession. He was the fourth highest rated player in possession with a 65.79 Corsi, 25 shooting attempts, 4 and 13 against with him on the ice. I have no worries about Kevin Korchinski.
And at 19 years old, consistently playing 20 minutes a night in the NHL, that's your best path for development.
Yep.
Duncan Keith's rookie year, he averaged 23 and a half minutes a game, and he looked bad for a lot of it.
Yeah.
And 4 seasons later, Norris Trophy.
Yep.
So it takes time. So, do not – I would say there's no reason to lose your mind over Kevin Korchinski. Luke Richardson himself has said if he keeps playing the way he's playing, he's here. He's in Chicago.
Yep.
There's no reason to send him back to the WHL to play 25 minutes a night against teenagers. Be in the NHL. Play 20 minutes in the NHL. He can't go to Rockford because of that rule. But play 20 minutes in the NHL, live with your growing pains, and that's until he looks absolutely unplayable, which I don't think that's ever going to happen for him. Until he looks that way, he's here.
Yeah.
There's no reason to move him.
What's he going to do in the Western? Just abuse people, put up 100 points and learn nothing?
Yeah.
Lebowski has a great point. Duncan Keith was also 23 years old.
Keith played two AHL seasons.
Yeah.
He was 4 years older than Korchinski.
It takes time.
And so good stuff. We got more super chats, don't we, Steven?
We do. Would you want me to read through them, or you want to take an ad break?
How many are there?
We'll do the ad break, and then we'll do our super chats,
Okay.
our Connor's Corner, our Who's Your Hawk, all of our fun stuff.
Yeah, we have to pay off Who's Your Hawk.
Yes. Man, we don't have to.
Now we got to.
All right. Well, speaking of payoffs, you need to go check out our new pals at the Circa Sportsbook. It is now their Circa Sportsbook app is now available for download in Illinois. So get your phones out and download that right now. Why Circa Sportsbook? Well, because they have tight money line splits and a low hold model. Games will strive to be a -110 split on Circa Sports, unlike other sports books, which will usually give you a -115 or -120 splits. Sure. What does that mean? That means more money in your pocket, better value bets, and that's what you want out of a sports book. Circa Sports does not limit players based on their winnings. Every player has the same limits, unlike other books who do limit winning players. Circa encourages bettors to download and explore all sports betting apps available, compare the lines from each sports book, and they're confident you're going to go back to Circa and use them. Another thing that separates our pals at Circa from all the other sports book, it's their customer service. There are real people behind the Circa Sports brand who resolve issues in a timeline fashion, unlike other sportsbook who use chatbots. Boo to chatbots.
Ooh.
All aspects on the app are being run by the same team that runs the main Circa Sportsbook at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, home of those loser Vegas Golden Knights. Download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also be on the lookout for Circa events, watch parties, and tailgates. If you know someone who may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER, text GAMB to 833-234, or visit areyoureallywinning.com.
And with all that money you're putting back into your pockets with your winning bets from Circa, you can spend it on some delicious Goose Island beer. Goose Island is the proud beer sponsor of us here at CHGO, and they have been Chicago's beer since 1988, and they have a ton of great beers that you can get year-round to enjoy, including the full pocket pills, the everyday beer what the Goose Island beer brewers are drinking. You have the entire family of Beer Hug IPAs. That whole series is great. Pick them up anywhere that good beers are sold. You can get the 312, the Golden Cans, the Wheat Ale. That's the staple of their year-round roster, plus tons more. You can get all these beers and more, ultra fresh, brewery exclusives, when you go to Goose Island's Original Brew House on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park. You can go to their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown, or you can get some delicious beers right here at Legends Bar and Grill in Mokena, Illinois.
Woohoo! Yes.
That's for the cheap pop. Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer.
All right, before we get to more super chats, we ready to do Connor's Corner here?
Let's do it. Crank up the
You guys
kaleidoscope.
can't hear it, but I did bring the music in today.
Woo!
All right.
All right. Tell me what to talk.
Playing right now.
Talk now?
Yeah, you should talk. I don't know how to do that during a remote shoot. That's a new thing for all of us.
All right, Connor Bedard with the goal.
Hey.
3 shots on goal, not 3.5.
Tough.
2 more shot attempts. 2 hits. He put a big hit on Marchessault.
Yes,
by
he
the way.
did.
Take that, Marchessault, in your hard to spell name.
I was told Connor Bedard was too small.
He can't play in this league. Send him back down. 19-15 of ice time. 1-6, lost 11 faceoffs, but that got worse late in the game. He was like pretty close to, I think it was like 6 and 8 at one point, and then lost the last 3 late. But getting better at the faceoffs overall. Solid game. I do still want to see him shoot more, not just because I placed a bet on the shot over. There are some opportunities where I think he's got the chance to shoot where he passes it up.
Yeah.
He said the other day, I'm not just a shooter, I'm not just a scorer, and he's right. But I want to see him be a little more aggressive with the shot. But I'm totally picking nit on that. He's been really, really good most of the games. He was a huge factor in this. You see Vegas very concerned and very aware of where he is all the time.
Yep.
And we've talked about the Hawks' hellish schedule to start the season. And Connor Bedard has started the season with, 6 points in 8 games?
6 points in 8 games.
Yeah. I mean,
60-point pace.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So
2 goals against the defending Stanley Cup champs.
Pretty good.
that's a good start to his career.
And this could be a nice segue in our next little feature. We decided, at least Mario and I did, I had first pick for Who's Your Hawk tonight. And Mario was like, so you're going to pick Bedard? I go, you know what? I'm not going to pick him because every time we pick him, he doesn't do anything. And then the one night we didn't pick him, he scores. It's like, let's not pick him and see what happens. So we may have to not pick him for a while.
Maybe.
Until this hot streak goes away. I still don't care. He scored last game too.
Sorry, 5 points in 8 games. My bad.
Is it 5?
5. 3 goals,
Okay.
2 assists.
50,
Still pretty good.
50 points.
It's 5 more points than I'd have in 8 games.
I want my hitting a button going. You never know.
That is true. You know, it was looking good for Jay in the Hoosier Hawk selections tonight. At first, he said, "Oh, give me Corey Perry." No, Nick Foligno. Well, both of them had primary assists tonight, so either one of those picks would have been good up until the overtime winner by Philip Kurashev. So it was a game-winning goal. It was a power play goal, and it was an overtime goal. So all those added extra points blew the game out of the water for me. That's my 5th win on the season.
It's impressive.
That is impressive. After being the last person to win a game in the preseason, I am 5-2-1.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It feels good. We don't have the helmet here,
You
unfortunately.
get to pick up the tab instead. Congratulations.
No, our super chats got those.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I will be the one to wear the helmet at morning skate the next time they play at home.
I suck at this game. I want to go back to the preseason when I was dominating.
Yeah. Well.
I'm like that undersized white right receiver for the Bears in training camp every day. I'm a training camp hero, and then when it starts for real, I'm nowhere to be found.
We got to stop overthinking it and just pick.
Yeah.
First name to come to your mind. Boom. That's your pick. Just go with it. Go
There
with
you
your
go.
heart.
That means I'm going to be picking Steve Larmer half. the
Empty
season.
your bowels on the pick.
Yeah. Exactly.
You could say that. I can't say that.
That's why I said it.
Speed of dominating. A quick little check-in. Rockford IceHogs up 5-1
Good.
on the Iowa Wild.
I hate
Actually,
the Iowa
let me
Wild.
Thinky guy.
let me rephrase that. The Screw City IceHogs
Yes,
are taking the Iowa Wild to Pound Town
They're-
tonight.
they are.
It is 5-1.
You could say they are putting the screws.
Really
to 'em.
putting the screws in
Yeah.
them.
I like
Yeah.
That's good. I see what you did
They're
there.
good for the IceHogs.
Yes, I hate the Iowa Wild. They're always
They
a bunch of
they
buttwags.
stink.
They do,
Literally-
and physically.
Literally
And
smell.
figuratively.
All right. Should we pay off the 4-star? Because then it's a runaway.
Yeah, we could do that.
All right.
Let's do that.
No drum roll this time.
No
Sorry.
drum roll. Okay. Coming in with
They brought a snare drum
67%
with you, Steven.
of the vote is your friend and ours, Nick Foligno.
Yep.
He is your 4-star of the game. I think rightfully so. Again, an assist, 2 shots, 2 hits, 20-28 of ice time. that assist to Connor Bedard was absolutely sick.
Great pass.
Also had a really nice move that did not result in a goal.
That was on Alex Pietrangelo, too.
Yes.
He clowned Alex Pietrangelo, world's greatest defenseman.
A quote from Foligno, this is from Mark Lazarus. He says, quote, 10 years ago, maybe I'd put that one in. Son of a bitch.
Nice.
So, congrats to Nick Foligno, 4-star of the game. All right, let's get these super chats and we'll wrap this up so I can go eat more wings and drink some more Goose Island.
And the wings are just so good
Sounds
here.
good.
They are massive. We got a $10 super chat from Carrie Franklin. I totally disagree with Lebowski 5. Policing dirty hits is what separates hockey from other sports.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
The debate. There's no doubt about that.
I like a good
legal.
fight here and there.
It's legal till it's not.
Nate, $10. I know you want to rag on Theodore for the turnover, but don't overlook Raddysh killing off that penalty for a 1:14 long shift, punctuated by splitting 3 guys and bearing a 20-foot wrist.
Oh, yeah. And we got to give some respect to Reese Johnson, too, at the end of that late penalty kill. Just taking a shot from like 5 feet out to block that shot.
Big block. Seth Jones was able to clear it after that. It was huge on that penalty kill.
Taylor Raddysh, he's been a little, I don't want to say disappointing, but not living up to expectations offensively. That's 2 games in a row he's been terrific on the penalty kill. The Boston game back at home, I mean, him and Boris Kachuk had 2 or 3 PKs in a row where they were just fabulous. So not everything Taylor Raddysh is doing is shows up on a score sheet, but he's been a very valuable member of this team.
Brandon Sikora slid into my DMs to clarify his point on Korchinski. What he's saying is he wants him to go to Rockford so he can have the development path that Vlasic had.
He can't.
He can't. Exactly. But I will say to Brandon, too, like, Korchinski's a much higher prospect than Vlasic was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, Vlasic, when he was drafted, was considered a very raw, kind of, not, I don't want to say a stretch of a pick, but it was like, okay, this guy's going to take some real development before we know if he's going to be anything. Much like Sam Renzel, kind of similar, not similar in play style, but similar in the kind of pick that was made around it, kind of high ceiling
development
kind
path,
of a thing. Yeah, so it's a little different. Korchinski, I mean, a lot of people thought he could have played last year. So anyway, but I wanted him to offer the clarification. He's not saying Korchinski's bad by any means, but of course, ideally he would start in Rockford.
Sure.
Okay, sorry.
if he could.
We have finally done it. It took 58 minutes, but we've gotten to the final super chat. And it's another
No, give us
huge
more.
one. Another huge one from Chris. $50
Man.
more. That's
Damn,
200
Chris.
this show alone. Love you guys and CHGO. Definitely is some sanity for my drive to and from work. With Richardson and the young talent, lots to be excited about. Can't wait for Nazar Moore and the 2 to 3 unrestricted free agents they will sign.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Next season will be very interesting.
Yeah, thank you for the
Thank you,
super
Chris.
chat love. That's
Appreciate it.
very kind and generous of you.
And appreciate everyone that showed up tonight
Absolutely.
to the Legends Bar and Grill here in Mokena. Had a pretty good turnout. Got to meet a couple people, shake hands.
Yeah,
No
Kiss some
babies,
babies.
no babies to be kissed. It
I
was,
found some.
Well,
They're in the parking lot.
parking lot babies. I don't know if you should be
Those are
picking
the
them up.
worst. Those are the worst
You
kind
don't
of
want to
babies.
pick them up and kiss them sometimes. But yeah, great to see everybody out here. Great to meet people. Put some faces out there in the CHGO community, and love
That
it.
was awesome.
Great time.
Great night.
We're going to be doing more of these. We got our takeover
Yep.
a week from tomorrow. Panthers.
Yeah, good
Hawks.
time to become a diehard, by
Get
the way.
fifth third
Yes.
arena experience. You're going to get to see the locker room. You're going to get to skate on the ice. And even before that, you get a happy hour over at our new friends over at the barn, the new hockey bar over there on Ogden. They've been in our chat a bunch, so we're looking forward to checking that place out.
They're in there right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we can't wait to see you guys on Saturday. And then,
We want to be your home team.
yes,
We want you to be our home bar. Make it happen.
yes, like these sorts of things we can do by you guys all the time if
Yep.
you want. And then, yes, we got our new tickets out
Yeah.
for the Chelios game if you want to join us there. And there will be
Big.
another watch party coming up before the end of the calendar year as well. So
Yes.
we'll keep you updated on that. So
To be awesome.
more of these. These are always a lot of fun. And hey, let's do 10 more of these. I'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
As Jay said, great time to be a diehard. The best way to do that is to go to ALLCITY, the diehard tab. That's where you're going to get all the information on how to sign up and become a CHGO diehard and become one of the proud members of the CHGO community that we are building here. You get access to discounted merch and event ticket prices, 20% off of events, 20% off of merch at all times. When you sign up, you get a free shirt from our CHGO locker. And then every year upon renewal, you will also get another free shirt or hat from the CHGO locker. You get access to the members only Discord channel. You get priority on our Mailbag Mondays when we do those in the off season. I think we might have a Mailbag Monday on a Thursday coming up this week.
Yep.
We'll see what'll happen there. But you also get access to premium written content at allchgo.com. So that's not only for what we put out there, but across the board, Bears, Bulls, baseball teams, White Sox and Cubs. You got the Sky, the Fire, the Red Stars, all the premium content you can ever hope for at allchgo.com. You will get access to that as a diehard. And
Greg Bragg sheet picks.
Yes, you can get those, and you can meet the feet of Greg Braggs in person at our CHGO Bears tailgates.
Meet the feet.
At our CHGO Bears tailgates. We got 2 more or 1 more? One more this year, which means it is one more opportunity for your chance to win a gift certificate to our friends at Golf X. They have been at the last 2 Bears tailgates. They're going to be at the last one coming up here, and they will be giving away a $200 gift certificate to any of their Chicagoland locations. And think of X Golf as a very fancy, very upscale Top Golf. Much better. Yeah, pinky up with the drinks. So, the weather's getting terrible out there. But if you still want to go out, have a good experience golfing, go to your nearest X Golf. You can find your nearest location when you go to playxgolf.com/Chicagoland. And again, they're going to be at our next Bears tailgate with an opportunity for a $200 gift certificate for you, which at X Golf goes a long way.
No doubt. And I like to go a long way because I don't really live near a Sunnyside, but Sunnyside is my favorite dispensary, and I don't complain about road trips. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping as Greg prepares a punch me in the nuts. A place for all kinds of visitors that are welcome to explore.
What I tell you earlier about oral surgery?
Discover and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your football and hockey season. We like hockey and being high, too. No matter where you are on your cannabis journey, easy online ordering and in-store pickup are available, and they've got a great, transparent loyalty program called Sunnyside Rewards. Stop into Sunnyside and get some of my favorites. How about the black cherry edibles from Mindy's? You want to feel like you're taking a warm bath and just sit there on your couch and disappear into another dimension for a while?
Yes.
The Mindy's black cherry gummies will help you do that. And you've got the good news, the Counting Sheep gummies, which I rely on every night to help me get a good night's sleep. They've also got the awesome vape pens, the Friday, the Me Time, a whole wide array of those. If you're feeling a little anxious before heading out into town, take a hit of one of those Friday pens and you will feel good to go. Tons of great brands there. Those are 2 of my favorite. Now through October 31st, head to sunnyside.shop. Use the code CHGO25 at checkout for 25% off your total order. 1 use per customer, not stackable with other promotions, but it's not only for new customers. Anyone can use that code CHGO25 at checkout. Pick up everything you need to elevate your football season. Must be 21 plus or an Illinois Med card holder. All right, we're wrapping up the show here, but we want to thank everybody here at Legends in Mokena. Come on out here and check this place out if you're in the South Burbs. 9710 191st Street.
It's an awesome setup.
The food's great. The drinks are great. The Goose Island is flowing. The wait staff here has been incredible. We have felt welcomed. We have felt at home. Thanks to Steven and Greg Braggs for making this happen.
Awesome
This is
job,
a
boys.
big
Thank
production for the company, so we appreciate that. And thanks to everybody who came out to watch the show and be here for us. We appreciate it. The more people that show up, the more we get to do stuff like this. So we really appreciate it. We love you too, Greg. And we love all you watching on YouTube, listening on the podcast. If you're on YouTube, smash that like button on your way out. Make sure you subscribe. Podcast listeners, same deal. 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Make sure you're following or subscribed. And hey, here's a weekend project. Since we don't have a show until Monday, tell a friend about CHGO Blackhawks. As the Hawks ramp up and people start to learn about Connor Bedard and Kevin Korchinski, and they see a big win like tonight, say, hey, you're getting into the Hawks? Check out my friends over here at CHGO Blackhawks.
Yep.
Word of mouth is our biggest helper. So please, please, please let your friends know about us. And we'll talk to you Monday after Hawks and Coyotes on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.